Welcome to Life with Ajane. I'm Ajane. This is the Lawfully Her series. It's the first of the month. Y'all know what that means, right? I'm done, okay? I finished yesterday afternoon. I submitted my final school, so we're done. Yay! Did it. Okay, so let's talk about it. What happened? What's been going on? I wanted to hold out on this video until the first so I could like really just share this moment with y'all and just share the feelings that I'm feeling today. I actually recorded something on the 31st, but I'm coming off a cold, and in that video I'm sloshing a cough drop around my mouth because I'm still like coughing every 2 seconds. It was just a mess. So I decided to re-record today and just jump in on the first. And yeah, I did it. So it's funny. We went from saying I was going to apply to 20 schools at the beginning of this journey to then being like, oh, well, you know, all those 20 wasn't really necessary. Let's go down to 11. And then I went from 11 to 9. And so I'm ending at 9. Now, some of y'all might be wondering, why'd you go from 11 to 9? Like, what happened? Well, there were 2 schools that I was going to apply to, but when I started looking at things more closely, trying to construct my essays, which I'm really happy that they ask you some of these questions because it really makes you think hard about, like, why am I applying here? Does it make sense? Does it align? And I had actually looked at these schools before, but with one of the schools, let's start with the heartbreaking one. One of the schools broke my heart because there was a very important clinic that they had that they no longer have. Like, it's after the changes in our administration, there's a clinic that they had and they no longer have. It's been gutted, and it broke my heart because that clinic was something I was looking so forward to if I were to go to that school. It was so perfect for someone like me, who has the interest that I have. And so like, that broke my heart. And it's not that school isn't a great school just because of that, but I think for a student like me, it makes it much less of a match. So I didn't apply there. And I was thinking, I was like, I could still apply, but like, it wasn't adding up why I would still be applying here after that. Yeah, because I'm not sure that I would go without that being there. Yeah, I'm not applying to that one. The second school that I didn't apply to, not heartbreaking, but what I realized was that there was something that was drawing me in that's very great for, again, a student like me and my interests. And I like the principles that the school stands on, and how they teach the law. But I think that in terms of like faculty and opportunities out like from the school, I'm not so sure how that would pan out for me. I'm being vague because I don't want to like get into too much details and talk about specifics yet. I want to let my journey play out as it will, with the schools I've applied to, and not put names to anything as much as possible. So I'll get into like the more specifics of that later if y'all care, but that's like the general synopsis of what happened. It was just like, there's one thing that's drawing me in, but I don't know that it's enough. So in both of those cases, there was something that was drawing me in. One school lost the thing that was drawing me in. The other one has a thing that's drawing me in, but like, I'm not sure about things outside of that if it was enough to have me apply. So with those things being said, I said, okay, no, I'm not applying. And I'll just stick with the 9 I've applied to. So yeah, here we are. And I'll tell you, like, I am extremely nervous in some aspects because I'm like, did I do enough? Did I apply to enough places? Did I do justice by myself? I'm like, part of me is freaking out because I feel like, you know, my initial plan was apply broadly, but I have to remember like my specific goals and the difference of someone like me applying to law school versus the general situation. Generally, when people apply to law school, they know they want to practice law. They don't necessarily know what area, or if they have an area, it's still pretty broad understanding, and they know they want to like practice. They're going to specifically practice. For me, I can see myself practicing, but I'm more so interested in the legal training and the types of opportunities that come from using the law and being able to work as an active attorney on certain issues in terms of societal structures. Let me get more clear there, because I'm like, what? That's just felt so vague. So, reminder, I'm interested in health law, right? And I'm specifically interested in looking at health law from the context of looking at how we can make things more equitable from a gendered and racialized framework of understanding. People are being harmed disproportionately based on certain attributes, right? So, certain people of certain racial, ethnic backgrounds and of certain gender identities, sexual identities, and things of that nature are not faring off as well as other people that are more in the normative standards. So I want to help make things better and make it where those people are not getting harmed as much, are not suffering as much. And to do that, I think that the law is very important to use to do that. So what does that mean for me? That means that I may be working on legal cases. That means I may actually formally practice. And I want that option to be available to me. But it also may mean that maybe I work in think tanks, NGOs, some kind of group that either does direct service projects, kind of like the things I've been somewhat doing now, or does things from a more indirect process. Well, I still think it's direct, but like looking at policy, shaping policy. So all that means that I need a school that can support both if I want to practice, but also if I want to not practice and just use my legal training in I'm suing so-and-so or bringing this case up spaces. I'm not sure if I said that right, but like, right? Like, I might not be doing a legal case, but I might be doing legal analysis. That's a better way of saying that. Also, I care about research. I love researching. I love thinking about frameworks and structures from a research perspective, and I want to be able to still do that. And that also may mean I work in legal academia. So I need a school that allows me to get legal academia placement without straining too hard to get there. Yeah. And then the last thing of what I'm considering is the fact that like I currently have a consulting business in which I work with nonprofits. I help them strategically plan. I help them get money to work on these projects to better our world. And I would love it. This is a bonus point. I would love it if the school had some options where I could learn how to bring in that nonprofit experience into the fold of all the things I care about and be able to talk about how to keep supporting those spaces. So yeah, I need a school that's gonna open up big doors, big opportunities, has big name behind it, and big funding, because the stuff that I'm talking about doing is not like big law payments. It can pay well, but oftentimes it just doesn't pay all that much. It's public interest that I'm interested in. So I need a school that pays its public interest people. If I have to take out money, I need to know that the school has a loan repayment assistance program that is really looking out for its public interest students. One that preferably doesn't rely on like the federal government doing that for you or anything like I don't know. Different schools have different loan repayment assistance programs, and I don't know too much about that to speak on that at length. I have to do more research, but I do have a general understanding that some schools have much more generous LRAP programs than others, and I really like looking at those schools that have more generous programs there. And yeah, so if I can't go for free, at least let me know on the back end that I'll be secure from doing the work that I want to do. So yeah, that's where we're at. And that's why I'm down to 9 schools, because I think that the 9 schools that I applied to best capture the things that are important to me, thinking about those different aspects of what I want. I have a very clear understanding of what it is that I want to do, where I want to make my impact, and how I go about that. And practicing is important, but not as important as having the legal frameworking and research training and having that JD behind my name to open the door to certain spaces. So yeah, I think the bigger it's not even that. Yeah, I just think the 9 schools I applied to can all give me the things that I need with all 3 of those aspects, in some way, shape, or form. So I was very mindful about how I applied, very intentional. And for that, I don't regret what I did. I think I did great. I'm nervous because that means like I'm not giving myself so many options, and that I'm limiting myself in some ways because like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go for free or not. You best believe though, I tried my hardest to apply to all the things that I could to have it be done for free. I think that I am worth going for free, and I am praying that I just represented that well enough in my essays and written materials to show that and prove that. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, so my nerves are mostly, it's not even from like the getting in thing. I think given the work that I've done, how far I've come in life from the things that I've been through and the things that I've accomplished, I think I'm gonna get into at least one of the 9. The question is, under what circumstances will I get in and how many? And it's more of a fear of the unknown than a fear of actual bad things happening, is what I'm really working through right now. So with all that being said, I still feel good. I'm so happy. I'm happy. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. Okay, I'm done with the little dance. Yeah, I feel great. I did it. We applied to 9. We're gonna see what happens with those 9. Probably in January. Just knowing how this goes. So it's a waiting game, and I'll be sitting, and in January, mid-January, so I'll be waiting for some answers, hopefully good answers, and we'll be sharing with you all after I make a decision. So everything from this point forward, Lawfully Hers, is going to be occasional check-ins to talk about how the waiting game's going, but we're good to go. And also LSAC said that I was gonna get 3 waived CAS report fees, but they only gave me 2. I emailed them, and I hope they like just refund me or something for that last fee, because like I should have had 3 fees waived and I only had 2. So hopefully they get back to me. I wasn't gonna let that stop me from still applying, but I hope that I can get the refund for the $45 for the 1 school extra that I paid for. We'll see about that. I'll let y'all know how that goes. If I got played a little bit, it's fine. God got me. So yeah, and that's how I gotta take the rest of this process. Like at this point, I did everything that I possibly could to give my strongest version of every piece of material of my stuff. If I adapted things along the way, I did that, but I gave my strongest foot forward with everything. So at this point, I gotta let God and ancestors take over and do their stuff. What I'm gonna be doing now is gonna move forward. I'm gonna make sure I write some thank you notes to the people who wrote my letters of recommendation, because yeah, like absolutely just thank you for taking the time out to do that. And I'm going to sit on my hands and wait, like I just said. So that's that. A couple other things I want to talk about, and then I'll wrap up out of here. 1, tutoring. If you want to tutor with me, do it. Hey, welcome. I would love to tutor support people. I have space and capacity. Especially have space and capacity now. And I'm actually going to work on that workshop that I talked about for weeks now. And I'll get some more information to you all soon. But yeah, if you want to work with me, hit me up on Ko-fi. The link will be in the description below, and you can sign up. I'm going to be restructuring the program a little bit because right now there's 3 tiers. Everybody's on the highest tier. So I'm just going to cut out the other 2. I think it's fluff. And I am going to also go from having 1 hour session to a 1.5 hour session. Right now how the program works is you get 1 complimentary one-on-one session and it's an hour, and you get 1 group tutor session for an hour. But what I've noticed is, like, especially for people who only use their complimentary session for what they pay for, an hour and a half would be better if you don't do additional sessions. So I'm gonna account for that and do an hour and a half. There's some other changes I want to make, but I'm gonna actually ask the people who are being tutored right now about what they prefer before I make any other changes aside from that. But the hour and a half change just because, like, I'm about doing that now generally with people, and I don't want anybody to feel rushed. So yeah, but yeah, that's something to note, that like if you get in, I'm gonna be changing soon to an hour and a half format. I'm cutting down on the tiers, so I wouldn't recommend signing up for the lower 2 tiers right now at this point, because those are gonna be nixed out of here by next month. And the last thing I have to say about tutoring is y'all, there was a giveaway for a free month of tutoring, and today's the 1st, and nobody left a comment to get the free tutoring package. So at this point, that's gone. But if you want a free month of tutoring, you know that you need it. I know somebody needs it that's watching this. I know someone needs it. So if you would like a free month of tutoring, here's how it's gonna work. My next free tutoring video on YouTube, I'm gonna do 1 more. It's gonna be a logical reasoning. My next logical reasoning YouTube video here, where I break those things down, I do another tutoring video. Make sure that you enter into the giveaway. I don't know if it's gonna be a comment thing again or what. I'll figure it out, but we're gonna redo it. I'm gonna give away a month of tutoring for the month of December, when I have like everything shifted and fleshed out. So November, expect another logical reasoning tutoring video, and in that tutoring video, expect me to say something about, hey, here's how you can sign up to get a free month of tutoring. Do that, and then hopefully you're the winner. So yeah, take advantage of that, because wow, I was just like, whoa, nobody took the time to do it, huh? My guess is y'all saw a 2-hour tutoring video and y'all were like, I'm good. But I want you to remember that, like, there's bookmarks galore in those videos. Like, I take a lot of time to make sure that I bookmark every single thing that I can think of that'd be helpful, so you can skip around in those. And in that reading comp video, the reason it's 2 hours is because I did 2 passages. I did a regular passage and then I did a science passage, which again is indicated in those bookmarks. So even if you're not interested in the free tutoring piece of like the giveaway, like go check out the video. Really helpful. And I outlined some really important pieces of how to master reading comp in that video. So yeah. Also, I have some like materials that are good in terms of like LSAT study preparation and tricks and tools on my Ko-fi site as well. And if you're not a member, those things cost $10 for just like little handbooks and booklets with like really interesting tips and tools to use on your studying journey. So yeah, you can go on Ko-fi and also just like buy some of those downloadables. Right now, I'm actually working on one that will lay out the process step by step of what you need to be doing to check in with your reading comp process, just so like you can see it visually. And it pairs really well with the videos on YouTube that are free. So that'll be up. I'm not gonna say when. It'll be up at some time. Oh, I'll say at some point this month it will be up. So, but yeah, go on Ko-fi. There's an addition to like the tutoring packages. You can just buy those downloadable things that I'm giving to free to my monthly members. They get those things for free for the month that they're registered. And then if they miss it, then they get half off. So if you want a little tip there, maybe it'd be worth it to sign up for tutoring and then get half off on those. You pay $5 instead of 10 for any of those downloadables. But you know, that's just me. Okay, so yeah, that's tutoring, that's that. The last thing I want to talk about is AI. So I know some people have been using AI in like their application processes, and I think that can be smart to an extent. But here's the thing. Y'all need to go and make sure that in the instructions and the certification page for every school that you're interested in, you go and you pay attention to specific language that the school talks about with that section. Here's why. Some schools, AI friendly. And they're like, oh, here's how you use AI if you're going to use it. Some schools, absolutely not. They're like, do not use AI for anything. So please go, for your sake, go pay attention to what the schools have to say. If you haven't started any of your materials yet, and you know that you want to use AI to help, I recommend going to those certification pages, going to those instructions, and making sure that for every school you're interested in applying to, you look and see what the restrictions are and you take notes on that. Because it would suck to put together all your materials with the use of AI, and then there's some schools that are like, absolutely not. And then you're going to have to come up and do double the work, where you might be able to save yourself some trouble by just knowing about what to do beforehand. It would also suck for you to say you didn't use AI and you use AI, and then something happens where you get caught up and then your process is compromised. So just please be careful. I don't sit one way or another about whether you should or should not use AI with your stuff. I think that if you're going to use it, please be careful. Don't compromise your admissions process by not paying attention. And I think aside from AI, it's just good to be careful in reading everything in general with your applications, because schools talk about things differently. Some schools have a different definition of first gen than other schools. Some schools have more questions about that misconduct section than others, right? Some people frame things a different way in the misconduct section than others. So I think in general, it's just really, my general tip is be careful and mindful about what it is that you're reading and checking off in those applications in general. But particularly with AI, just because it's such a touchy space and we're in the new frontier, be careful out there. I would hate for somebody to be like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to use AI to help with these, so that'll take off some of the pressure off my back on these essays. And then you submit an AI essay to a school that's like, absolutely not. And then that compromises whether or not you get in. So, yeah, that's all. Those are just my thoughts, because I was looking at some essays and I was like, interesting. Oh, cool note though. I'm saying this because like Dean Z mentions it on her channel. University of Michigan has an AI prompt, which I think is really interesting. So University of Michigan does not want you to use AI at all, except for this one prompt. And the one prompt is like, do you use AI now? How do you see yourself using it in the future? Or something like that. So like, you know, there's some cool things in the process where you can use it and it's explicitly clear. But just be careful. That's what I'm saying there. All right. This is longer than I wanted it to be. I talked a lot. But yeah, we did it. I told y'all by the first of the month, we're done. We're done. And I had time. Like if I wanted to do another couple of applications, I could have done those. Because the applications that I stepped away from weren't all that complicated. Like I didn't have to do too much more work with essays, but they just weren't good fits. So we ended at 9. We'll see in January how it goes, and I'll probably be reporting back to y'all about what's happening. I hope before April, to be honest with you, because I'm gonna have to move my family one way or another. So I'm hoping I know before April where I'm gonna move, so that move isn't as stressful. We'll see. I'll get back to y'all on that. But in the meantime, in between time, thank y'all so much for watching. We'll have occasional check-ins. I'm gonna stop doing the weeklies and just do occasional to tell y'all how the weight's going, and then I will start getting back to some more of my instructional videos I've been holding off on. So that's exciting. All right, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.